Wild card weekend, it was fantastic. It was highly emotional, a lot of close games. Good teams win, good teams lose, right? It happens back and forth, right? Good weekend overall, though. But I did think that two teams in particular that won, right? We already talked about it. The Cowboys and the Giants. They should certainly be happy about. That's probably the biggest win that they've both had in a while, right? But they're in kind of a weird spot now, right? So let's start with the positives, right? Like I said, they won. And we'll start with New York. I think New York completely outcoached. They outprepared, not a term, but they out-physicaled, in quotations, the Vikings. I think there were multiple plays, series, drives, in which the Giants looked like they almost had the Vikings playbook. They looked like they were hyper-focused, ready, like they knew what play was coming. I mean, they were doing the Statue of Liberty, Saquon's running wild, Daniel Jones was comfortable for the first time since probably the last time he played the Vikings. Right, they had damn near 30 first downs. Right, and it was close, right, on the scoreboard. It was kind of back and forth, but I think from about snap 5, at least I felt, this is kind of the Giants' game to lose, right? I would say almost the exact same for Dallas. Right, their game plan was excellent. They exploited weaknesses all over Tampa's secondary, which is the weak part of pretty much their entire team, but especially their defense. I think they looked dialed in on a different level, coming off a pretty much humiliating loss, Week 18. I would say, except for Brett Maher. So I had to throw a dig in there. That was embarrassing, but anyway, right? So, but here's the thing. Both teams kind of stare down the barrel of a gun now. Right, this happens all the time, pretty much any industry, right? You see it all the time, right? Smaller brands, they pick up steam, they get popular, right? Start making some good money, right? Both these teams getting a win, getting a little bit of momentum going. Everyone's talking about them. They look really, really good, right? But then they get bought out. They get a number they can't resist, or they come up against a bigger and better force. Happens in any industry, pretty much. It's going to happen here in football, right? I feel this with both Dallas and New York. Again, let's start with New York. So New York has to travel to Philadelphia, a team who desperately needed rest. I mean, they were banged up everywhere. They got it, and they appear to be really, really healthy for the first time in probably about 4 or 5 weeks, right? And my guess, knowing how passionate and how fiery Nick Sirianni is and that team is, I would imagine they come out with their hair on fire. That doesn't strike me as a team who off a bye is going to start slow like we saw like Tennessee and Green Bay do after they eventually got bounced in the divisional round last year. I don't think that's Philly's brand. I think if they do get bounced, it's going to be against a better team like a San Fran. But anyway, yeah, they're going to come out with their hair on fire, probably score 2 touchdowns. I don't think New York is built to play from behind. Like I said, if Philly goes out and scores 10 or 14 quick points on them. Right? That's not really their brand. They like to run the football, control the tempo, play on their terms. So that's not a good look for New York. And now Dallas, similarly, also going to go on the road, and they're going to face, in my eyes, probably the best roster in football, top to bottom. Oh, and by the way, they're going to have 2.5 days less of rest. Their game ended, I don't know what, like midnight, Monday night?
Yeah, it was late.
Probably got back around 3 or 4, maybe even later. It ended around 11:15 probably. But they didn't get back till I would say 3 or 4 to Dallas.
Easily.
In bed at 5 or 6, if they're lucky.
Takes a while to wind down from an NFL game.
San Francisco was done Saturday afternoon. Or the first game. Saturday afternoon. Right? That's not a good matchup. Much the same for New York. I like the team. I think they're really fun. Really nice win. But again, probably not built to win from behind with less rest against San Francisco, who's going to be at home. They're going to be feeling it. They're going to be better rested. Probably better coached, I would imagine. I mean, we know they have a better coach. Is the game plan probably going to be better? Probably. A better roster. Right? I think perspective is wildly important whenever you're looking at a sport, right? For example, if you thought the Bears were going to make the playoffs, that's on you. Right? That's on you. That's your perspective. That's what was skewed. That's what was incorrect. Your expectations. Right? If you thought that the Steelers being 9-8 with a rookie quarterback and a defense that underperformed until like the last third of the season, an offensive coordinator who looks like he forgot how to be an offensive coordinator until like the last couple weeks, and even then it still wasn't pretty. If you thought that was a Super Bowl roster, that's on you, right? Perspective is everything. And Dallas and New York both had probably the biggest wins that they've had in 10 years, maybe. That feels about right. Dallas goes and beats the GOAT. They've never beat Tom Brady ever. I mean, New York thought Daniel Jones was like chum in the water, right? People were, do we replace him? What do we do with Daniel Jones? kind of reached at 6. Not even wins a playoff game. Right, those are big wins. But Dallas beat the 23rd ranked pass defense. And Daniel Jones only has 3 games above 100 pass rating. 2 of them are against the awful Vikings. And one's against an awful defense in Detroit. Right, so that's not going to be repeated for either team. Against much better rosters, much better teams.